The General Services Administration's into the third and final phase of its multiple award schedules consolidation soon. GSA Administrator Emily Murphy told you about that plan yesterday. That conversation's available now at govmatters.tv. Roger Waldron is president of the Coalition for Government Procurement. Roger, thanks for coming back on the program. What's your takeaway from the plan that GSA's laid out for the schedules consolidation? You like the way it's unfolded so far?
Yes, I think it's been a well thought out plan. It's been pretty well executed. Not a lot of hiccups, and they're in phase 3 is an important phase because it's the opportunity where companies who have multiple scheduled contracts can now work with GSA to consolidate it down to one contract and pull all their products and services together on a single contract, which would be more efficient and effective for both for the companies, for customer agencies, and GSA as well. And it also facilitates solutions buying, which I think is a lot of the way GSA is trying to go these days, focusing on solutions for customer agencies' needs.
You write on the Coalition for Government Procurement blog recently, with the advent of Phase 3, Federal Acquisition Service and its industry partners can begin to focus on the next steps in enhancing the FSS program, building a frictionless best value acquisition platform. What would you like to see unfold as this moves forward, Roger?
I guess I'll put it in 3 different buckets. Number one, I think the implementation of Section 846, which is the authority GSA and civilian agencies were provided in NDA, I think 2019, that allows the flexibility to award contracts without consideration of price. And really, this is about enhancing competition overall by focusing on requirements, price, and value at the task order level. And it's a great way to reduce barriers to entry to the federal market, more access to innovation and capability and innovation from the commercial sector. That's number one. A part of that would be overall pricing reform of the schedules program. Finally, it's a great framework now. It's a solutions approach, elimination of the price reduction clause. Complete reform of the pricing policies, I think, would be the next steps to enhance, for example, to enhance the capability to provide cloud services on the contract. And then finally, to take advantage of consolidation, which is going to be more efficient and effective, lots of training for GSA and contracting folks on this new contract vehicle. I know they're in the process of doing that and have been working on it throughout all the phases. But also just as important, or more important in some ways, training for customer agencies on the new program, how it works, how they can take advantage of it, how it can be more efficient and effective for them.
I asked Administrator Murphy on Sunday, what is going to happen? What is GSA going to do to make sure that we don't get schedules creep, that we wind up 5 years from now, 10 years from now, back in the same boat that we were in before they undertook this program? Her argument was, I don't see any demand for somebody to add another schedule at some point now that we've gotten this down to one. Does that make sense to you, Roger? Or is there a possibility that something could happen and we could see schedules creep?
I agree with Emily on that. I think, there's, and I think, moving forward, post-COVID-19, the efficiencies that government's going to be looking to, to achieve across all programs, including procurement programs, the demand there is going to be actually to continue to make the program more efficient. And I don't think efficiency is creating new solicitations and new contract vehicles and going back to a stovepiped approach. So I think Emily's right on point with that observation. Back
to your piece on the CGP blog, you write, Section 876 is the very embodiment of OFPP Administrator Mike Wooten's vision of a frictionless procurement system. Now, Mike talked about that on this program a couple of weeks back, about the switch of the CAP goal from the way it was before to calling it now frictionless acquisition. How do these two things tie together there in your mind, Roger?
Well, there's frictionless acquisition, just take from the industry perspective, is really about reducing barriers to entry to the federal market and reducing administrative costs and focusing on requirements and performance of those requirements. And Section 876 is really about reducing an artificial barrier to entry to the market, and that's the negotiation of a price at a contract level that's not really relevant to task order competitions, where agencies are defining requirements and seeking price and value based on their unique requirements for services. So it's completely consistent with the idea of frictionless acquisition. It reduces barriers. It really gets to the point I like, frictionless to me is more buying, less contracting, right? Allowing the customer agencies to actually acquire what they need in a streamlined, efficient way. And I think Section 876 is another step in that direction.
We have about a minute left, Roger. What will you watch moving forward? What are the most important things for somebody to do, and who is it that needs to do them?
I guess one of the things I think, consistent with frictionless acquisition and the culture approach, is I think now more than ever, just focusing on commercial item contracting. And what I mean by that is, for example, I think GSA could take a step back. We're all working virtually. You can connect everybody, connect your contracting core, have a day where you're just focusing on commercial item contracting, products, services, solutions, how to reduce barriers, understanding how flexible and how expansive the definition is to bring innovation and capability from the commercial market, which we're going to need now more than ever, as we come out of the pandemic. That to me would be a great statement. And then I go back again to training, and that's training customer agencies on, this new platform, the consolidated schedule, and how it can more effectively meet their needs.
Roger Waldron, thanks very much as always. Great to see you.
Thanks, Francis.